Now the next module I want to cover is balancing equations. It's important to ensure that when working with chemical equations that they are balanced. They've got to be balanced. You must ensure there are an equal number of all the atoms on both sides of the equation. That's the key. Ensure you have the same number of atoms on both sides of the equation. Let's do an example. Balancing equation, as you can see here, carbon plus oxygen make carbon dioxide. C plus O2 makes CO2. Let's see if this is balanced. Let's start with carbon. On the left hand side we've got one atom of carbon, and on the right hand side we've got one atom of carbon. That's balanced. What about the oxygen? Well, on the first one we've got O2, that's two oxygen atoms, and on the far side we've got O2. They're both balanced, so this equation is now balanced. C plus O2 makes CO2. That's balanced. Let's do another example. Zinc plus sulfuric acid make zinc sulfate plus hydrogen. This is the formula. Zn plus H2SO4 makes ZnSO4 plus H2. Let's start with the zinc atoms. On the left hand side you've got one atom of zinc, and on the right hand side you've got one atom of zinc. That balances. Hydrogen. On the left hand side you've got two atoms of hydrogen, and on the right hand side you've got two atoms. So straight away you can see that you've got a balanced equation for the hydrogen. What about the sulfur? On the left hand side you've got one atom, and on the right hand side you've got one atom. So this is balanced. Do you understand? This here is balanced here. Finally, we'll look at the oxygen. Now on the left we've got 4 oxygen atoms, and on the right we've got 4. So do you understand? That actually is a balanced equation. You've got the right amount of atoms on one side compared to the other side. Let's do another example. Iron oxide plus carbon monoxide, if reacted, create iron plus carbon dioxide. This is the formula. Fe2O3 plus CO gives Fe plus CO2. So let's try and balance this equation. Let's look at the atoms on the left hand side and the right hand side. Well, first of all, let's look at the iron. On the left hand side you've got Fe2. So you've got 2 iron atoms, and on the right hand side you've only got 1. So first of all, to balance this equation you've got to make that 2. So let's make that 2. That balances that out. Let's look at the oxygen then. On the left hand side we've got 3 there plus 1, we've got 4 oxygen atoms on the left hand side, and on the right hand side we've only got 2 oxygen atoms, so we need to make it 4. So do you understand? We need to put a 2 in front of the CO2 to make it 4 oxygen, so we make that 4 now. So we've got 2 CO2. Next, look at the carbon now. On the left hand side you've got 1 carbon, and on the right hand side you've got 2, haven't you? You've got 2 carbon. So now, how do you balance that out? Well, you've got to make the other one 2. You've got to make the CO2 2CO. So now this has affected the oxygen. So we need to consider the oxygen atoms again. On the left we have 5 oxygen molecules, and on the right we have 4. So we need to increase the oxygen on the right by making this 3. As you can see there, 3. Now we've got 5 on the left and 6 on the right. So we have to increase this one to 3. Yeah, as you can see there, make that one 3. Now we've got 6 oxygen on the left and 6 on the right, so they are balanced. However, they have changed the amount of carbon in the formula, so now we need to check the carbon. You see, when you make changes you've got to check what you've affected. Now here we've got 3 carbon there and we've got 3 carbon there. This is now a balanced equation. You've got to keep going until it balances. You see how you had to do that one? That is now a balanced equation. Let's do another example. Is this a balanced equation? If it isn't, balance it. Propane plus oxygen give you carbon dioxide and water. C3H8 plus O2 give you CO2 plus H2O. Let's work this one out now. This is the formula. How do we balance this equation? Well, first of all, let's look at how many atoms we have on each side of the equation. Let's look at carbon. On the left we've got 3 atoms, and on the right we've got 1. So we make this 3, don't we? Make that 3. Straight away that balances the carbon out. Next we need to know how much hydrogen we've got. Now on the left we've got 8 atoms, and on the right we've got 2 atoms. So how do we make this 8? We make that 4. You've got to multiply that out to make that 4 to make it 8. Let's now look at the oxygen atoms that we've got. On the left we've got 2 atoms, and on the right we've got 3 times 2 plus 4, we've got 10 atoms. Do you understand? We've got 10 atoms of oxygen there. So all we do is make this 5. Make this 5, and that makes that 10 on the left and 10 on the right. Do you understand? That is now a balanced equation. C3H8 plus 5O2 gives you 3CO2 plus 4H2O. You've got 3 carbon on the left, 3 carbon on the right. You've got 8 hydrogens on the left, you've got 8 on the right. You've got 10 oxygen atoms on the left and 10 on the right. That's how you balance equations.